Monday Night Football. Texans hosting the Titans. Texans beating the Titans thanks in part to Deshaun Watson. For Houston, it was their 8th straight win. First time in NFL history, the team started a season 0-3 and then reeled off 8 straight wins. For Watson, 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 on the ground. Here he is on his team's chances now moving forward.
We just focus on us. We don't worry about the outside noise. We knew what this team was about, and we just kind of started slow early on in the season, and we're just a couple plays away from being 3-0. But it didn't fall our way. But we corrected those mistakes and made sure that we stayed on top of our game and kept grinding. And we just focused on that locker room, and everyone in that locker room made sure that we stayed focused. And each and every week we took it 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, and now we're sitting here 8-3 and have an opportunity to do something special. So we got to keep the momentum going and keep focusing on 1 day at a time, 1 practice at a time, 1 meeting at a time. And if we can do that, the sky's the limit for us.
All right, Coach, so here you have the Texans sitting at 8-3. Are there a ton of people out there that are thinking, well, I'm nervous, I'm afraid to play this Texans team? It doesn't feel like they are as intimidating a team as their record seems to be. Are they true contenders in the AFC right now?
Yeah, they're absolutely true contenders. And we talked about this early in the year, where you go into the season with who you want to be, and then you realize who you need to be. And I think that's what happened with these guys. And if you remember, Deshaun Watson only played 6 games last year. So similar to San Francisco and Garoppolo, they were learning about Deshaun Watson, but they didn't really know who he was. And then they go into the offseason, you put together your plan of, this is what we think Deshaun will do really well. And he's radically different than what they typically would have in this offensive system in terms of his skill set. So they had to adjust to that. Offensively, they had to figure out how to utilize the strengths that he had the best way, while also incorporating the things that they wanted to run offensively, and they've done a good job with that. And then you look at it defensively, Romeo Crennel comes back in as the defensive coordinator. Mike Vrabel had the 1-year stint there. Romeo went kind of to more of a front office role. He comes back. I think that's had a really positive impact. You had Brad Seeley, the special teams coach. I think that's had a really positive impact. He was a guy that we were with in New England, and I think he's one of the best in the league. So all those things combined, and that process of, all right, who do we need to be? They started to figure that out, and now I love what he's saying in the press conference. 1 meeting, 1 practice, 1 day, 1 game. It's not, oh, we're going to make the playoffs, or, grabbing Nick's chart and saying, well, if we beat these 3 guys and New England falls to this team. That's not, they have the right mindset, which is encouraging too.
And that's the right mindset, even if they were 4-5. Even if they were 4-7, because in this league, you have to be able to try to be consistent week in and week out. Coach Mangini makes a good point. We sometimes just fall in love with the teams that have the big numbers and everything, or get off to the fast start. Ultimately, it's what kind of football team are they after Thanksgiving? Who they were in September, that really doesn't matter that much. And who's going to get better coming down the stretch. And I think Coach Mangini, don't want to speak for him because yesterday I did that and I was wrong, but I think Coach Mangini feels like this is a team that's trending in the right way as far as trying to identify what can they do compared to what we want to do. In the offseason, everybody wants to do, man, we're going to run big plays, want to be explosive, want to get after the quarterback, create turnovers, but ultimately you see, hey, this is who I got. What can I do? So I think that he has a great deal of respect for who they have turned into. Now, if they can continue to evolve, to continue to protect their quarterback, how are they going to get big plays out of that offense? And Demaryius Thomas, does he continue to build on what he's done in the last 4 weeks? Yes, this is the type of team, I don't want to face Clowney and J.J. Watt in the playoffs. So when you start talking about, is a team a contender, who don't I want to play? And this is a team with their front that I wouldn't want to play.
Well, I think that's a great way to put it. And of the teams right now that look like they are playoff teams in the AFC, of those 6 teams, if I have to pick who I don't want to play, that would mean by definition of the 6, there's the one I would most want to play, and that is the Houston Texans. So in my eyes, does that make them not a contender? Yeah, I think that makes them not a contender. I give them tremendous credit. JJ, I thought, and I think a lot of people thought, his career was headed in a direction of derailed by injury, and he is now now 90% of what he was at the peak of his powers, which was one of the best 4-year stretches in the history of the league at that position. They didn't have a first or second round pick this year. They made the most of their third round pick, drafting Justin Reed, who could have been a first round talent. He's been awesome for them. Kiki QT as a slot wide receiver has been very good for them. I'll give them a lot of credit, and Deshaun looks as good as a lot of us thought he was going to look coming out of Clemson. But I do not trust their coach. I do not trust their offensive line. And if Deshaun's going to say we could have won those 3 early in the year, then I can say, well, the 2 wins prior to last night, you're up 2 with the other team kicking a field goal at the gun to win. The first 3 games of this winning streak were overtime, and a Nate Peterman pick 6 and a tie game with 2 minutes left. So if he's going to say, though, we could be better than 8-3, sure. They also easily could be 5-6. And so it is tremendous credit to turn 0-3 into 8-3. But of the teams that I think are going to make the playoffs in the AFC, this would be the one that if I have to play in the first round, they're the team I want to play.
You wouldn't. You'd rather play Baltimore?
No, I think the Colts and Chargers,
right.
Texans are the bottom 3. Chiefs, Patriots, Steelers are the top 3. Of those 6, with the way the Colts are going and Luck is going, the way the Chargers have been all year, and we know who the Chiefs, Patriots, and Texans are, this is the team. You're right. If Baltimore gets in, I'd rather play Baltimore.
I mean, because I'm just looking at the teams that qualify right now.
Right now, the Colts and Baltimore are tied at 6 and 5. I'm putting the Colts above Baltimore, but sure, I would have them above Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore's going to get there.
But that was my point that I made earlier, is when you talk about teams that you trust and you don't trust, yes, they've won 8 in a row, but I don't trust that they're going to go out there and keep putting it together in a consistent way because there have been so many close games, so many flip of a coin plays on defense.
Yeah, I can understand that. And anyone who's looked at the games, and if you look at them and you try to be objective, yes, you would be concerned. Yeah, they have played in some very tight games. Were they gifted several games? Yes, but it's where you're playing right now and based on winning 8 games in a row. I played 16 years in this league. I never won no 8 games, so I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo winning 8 games. I don't care who you're playing against. What? Sit there and do it.
Well, you did. You're 15 in 1 year. You guys won 8 in a row.
No, we did.
You had to.
We won 7.
And then 8. You had to.
And then 8. Yeah, but that's the thing. I did it one time.
Sure.
And, I mean, we had a great season. I haven't seen the cases. Look it up. We have Dusty. Look it up.
A lot of
in the history of this league, winning 8 games, man, because everyone's got talent.
No. And I remember our first year winning the Super Bowl, playing Buffalo, and it's up there in overtime. David Patton fumbles, gets knocked out, fumbles. They recover the ball. It looks like we're going to lose the game. But David Patton's head was on the sideline, and the ball was touching his foot. So the ball was out of bounds. We kept the ball. We go down, score, we win the game. So sometimes the football gods shine on you, and you get those things, those moments where maybe you shouldn't have won the game, but you do. And what they have is that they are under the radar, and people are saying, well, they're not that good. But that plays to their advantage because they don't have to deal with all the external stuff that the Chiefs are dealing with and San Diego's dealing with and the pressure of expectations. They can just focus on the next thing ahead of them. It's a great spot to be in.
All right, Coach, we'll see you a little bit later on the show. Coming up, Dak Prescott was asked if he's afraid of playing the Saints this week. Wait till you hear what he had to say next on First Things First.